Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's so good to be here, and thank you for the applause. There's suddenly so much pressure. Okay, so I'm not very much of a conversationist. A good speaker, yes. A good trainer, I think so. But a conversationist, not so much. And so, I don't really like one-on-one conversations. It makes me really anxious. Right? You just sit there in someone's room, and then you have to engage in a conversation and initiate and just talk to each other. I don't think I'm very great at it. And so because of that, I'm not a fan of small talk, chit-chat and surface conversations. Plus, I consider myself a hypersexual. Is there any other hypersexual here? Well, plenty. So we like deep conversations, right? We want to talk about politics, talk about religion, talk about healthcare, talk about sexuality, talk about conspiracy theories. These are the things that stimulate us, those mind-boggling conversations. And I know I'm not the only one, because I've heard on social media from different people that, I'd rather stay away from chit-chat. Like, let's go deep, let's have deep conversations. If you're somebody here, you've ever said that, I don't like small talk, just wave your hand for me, let me see. Or you've ever thought about it that, no, small talk is not for me. Wave your hand. Don't be shy. So we're plenty. I'm sorry for deceiving you. I didn't used to like small talk. That's what I should have said. Now, I think small talks are very important. And that's why I titled my talk for today, The Big Impact of Constructive Small Talks. You see, I've realized that the best relationships, the best business partnerships, the best sales pitch, the best job interviews, the most impressionable job interviews that people have are the ones that either begin with some level of small talk, or within the conversation, they have some level of small talk. But yet, we all seem to dismiss it as superficial, unnecessary. Sometimes we say it's a waste of time. So on Easter Sunday, I was having a conversation with my friend, and we were talking about this topic. And then another friend walks in, and he goes, hey, what's up? So what are you guys talking about? And in a bit to be a bit funny or sarcastic, we say, we're not talking about anything, we're just chit-chatting. And he goes, wait. You guys have been here for like 1 hour, 30 minutes, and you're just talking up and down. And like, yeah. It's like, no. Is there money in conversation? We said, no. He said, is there God in conversation? We said, no. It's like, okay, so why are you wasting your time? It just further buttressed my point that people do not pay important attention to small talk. We think that small talk is very superficial, like I said earlier. We think that small talk is unnecessary. Or maybe we just do not know the value and the purpose of small talk. And that's where I want to come in today. You see, small talk, the polite surface conversations that we don't like to have or we feel very anxious having, this serve as a sort of invitation. They serve as a means to find a common ground between you and that person that you want to pitch to in business, the person that you want to pick their brain, the person that you want to have that deep conversation about healthcare and politics. Small talk is a means of finding a common ground. If I can find a common ground between me and you, even though we do different things, then we can definitely have a deeper conversation, right? Small talk is a means to build rapport, to build trust, to build emotional connection. There's somebody I met yesterday, his name is Victor, and we're just talking about random things. And I learned that, Kogi has 10 boundaries with like 10 different states. I don't think I'll forget about it, but was it not small talk? Yes, it was small talk. If I go back to Lagos, would I remember him? Definitely I'll remember him. If we have another opportunity to have a conversation, are we going to get deeper in that conversation? Most likely we'll get deeper in that conversation. That's the power of small talk. Now in business, small talk is especially important. In sales and marketing, small talk is especially important. I'm sure you guys have heard this saying that people buy from people that they like, right? Customers tend to stay loyal to brands that they like, which means that you have to find a way to build emotional connection with your customers. You have to find a way for them to get to love you, for them to get to trust you, for them to feel like you're credible and you're important and you're valuable. Those things that you do, those building emotional connection, that getting people to like your brand, most of what you do is by building small talk. Because if all you do in business is to say, I do this, I do this, I do this, or I sell this, I sell this, I sell this, people will stop paying attention to you. But if you tell them, oh, Avengers Endgame is showing, tell me why I should give you 5 free tickets, will they pay attention to your brand or not? They will pay attention to your brand. Everybody's raving about Game of Thrones. If you do an advertorial that has Game of Thrones themed, will people pay attention to it? Yes. People like Mother's Day, Father's Day, World Health Day. The reason brands and businesses and personal brands are saying Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, it's not necessarily because they care, but because they know that if I tell my customer this, they will want to stay with me for a longer time. We say this a lot in digital marketing, that it's more important to social sell instead of hard selling. Hard selling is, this is me, I do this, come and buy from me or come and patronize me. Social selling is building relationships, with leveraging on your interactions with people, and that's what small talk will allow you to do, because you're more concerned about building an emotional connection. You're more concerned about getting people to want to have authentic conversation with you than just saying, this is what I do, and let's have a deep conversation. The funny thing is this: if you don't have small talk, you most likely will never get to that deeper conversation. Because you can't just meet somebody one day and just start talking about all the deep things about them. Sometimes you have to start from, have you eaten today? Or what movie are you watching on Netflix? If you don't start with those things, those things are foundations for deeper conversations and more authentic communication. Now, there's a study by Salesforce that says that 72% of all business buyers prefer to listen to critical attention from people in sales who are trusted advisors. Who's a trusted advisor? It's just not necessarily somebody that has a track record. A trusted advisor is somebody that we can actually have a rapport with and ask questions and interact with and get them to actually want to have conversations with us over a long period of time. So in business and sales, those are the things that really matter. Not just making sure that you're just telling people what you do, but making them care about you, finding a way to build an emotional connection and just getting them to want to build rapport with you. I once heard that if you want to get people to like you, if you want to impress people, tell them about your successes. If you want to impact people, tell them about your vulnerabilities and your failures. The things that impact people are not the very deep conversations. Those things are great because they leave, oh, you're very smart. Oh, I like the way you talk. But if I'm going to leave an impact and leave an impression, it's from those little conversations that we have, those behind the scenes that you show me that let me know that you're as human as I am human. Then when you're doing something, you might be a celebrity, but if I see your story and just see that, oh, okay, sometimes you don't wear wig too. You're a normal human being like I am. Or I can see that you have a kid and your kid is telling you, Mommy, I don't want this because, I'm first generation or whatever. It's just behind the scenes and vulnerabilities that get people to want to stay with you. And those are the things that small talks actually help you do. Small talk is not necessarily how are you. It's just the surface conversations that helps you to want to have more communication with the next person beside you. I've done a lot of job interviews, as person looking for a job and then somebody who wants to employ somebody. And I realized that the most impressionable interviews I've had are the ones that the person that is on the other end is actually having a conversation with us. Not just telling me about their qualifications or their certifications, but just answering questions and making us laugh and saying silly comments that make sense. Right? Not just to smell nice, but silly comments that make sense in the conversation. And so when you leave, you're like, this person might not be right for the job, but I probably will not forget this person. Why? Because the person left a good impression. Not because they sounded smart, but because they were relatable and they were human and they were authentic of what they were doing. So I said, small talk has a real value, but how do we have constructive small talk? So we don't end all our conversations with, have you eaten? Or how are you today? Or what school you go to? How do we have constructive small talks that when we start conversations with people and we want to have them do something for us, we want them to buy from us eventually, we want them to be our business partners, we want them to give us a job. How do we have constructive small talk so that we can get the outcome that we want? Because small talk will determine whether or not that conversation gets a deeper level or the outcome of that conversation. The first step is this. You have to be purposeful in every communication and every conversation that you have. Our thoughts can be very self-fulfilling. If you think something, most likely you will become that thing. Because our thoughts are things that create. If you focus on a thought, it can become something. So it's left for you to first of all say, small talks are not superficial. They are not unnecessary. They are not a waste of time. They can be purposeful and they can be of useful value to me and the person I'm trying to engage with. If you get rid of those negative thoughts in your mind, then you can deliberately cultivate small talks that can lead into the deeper level of conversations and better relationships that you want to have. So the first thing is be purposeful in your thinking. The second thing is you want to know who you're talking to. If I walk into an event and I want to network with people in that event, I want to get them to interact with me, maybe give me their business card, let's talk about business deals later, or I walk into a room and I want to get a job afterwards. I just walk in a room and I want to just sell to people, or I'm on social media and I want to put up my product for people to buy and sell. The first thing you want to pay attention to is your target audience. Who are these people? What do they like? Where are they? How do I communicate with them? What interests them so I can use that in my conversation? Because again, it's about finding a common ground, right? It's about being deliberate in building that rapport. If I can find something that they like and know more about them, then it'll be easier to take that conversation from just the superficial things to the deeper level. So you want to know your target audience. 3, you want to make sure that you are approachable. Here's the thing about communication. Non-verbal communication is as important, maybe even more important than exactly what you say. The way you act when you're talking to somebody matters more. The way you stand gets people to know, is that person approachable? Can I come and ask for a selfie or not? You want to be approachable. You want to, a lot of times, when you're in a room of people, you want to lose your phone. We're paying so much attention to our smartphones now, and then you're just there pinging and doing Instagram and just flipping through and seeing all the O1 pictures. But when you're in that phase and it's harder for somebody to come and walk up to you because they feel like if they come and you're so busy, it might seem very rude. So when you want people to engage with you, lose the phone. Sometimes even the drink in your hands that we hold at parties and events, we're not doing it because we're drinking it. We're holding it because it's like some sort of comfort. You want to make yourself approachable, open your arms and open your mind so people feel like they can actually come and engage with you and then have that conversation with you. And when you can, you want to initiate conversations. The thing about initiating conversations is that it puts the ball in your court. You have the control over that conversation. You can steer it how you want. You can ask the questions. And a good thing in conversations and interactions is that if you want to get people talking, you need to ask open-ended questions. You can't just ask questions that says yes or no. You want to ask them how and why. For example, I was with Jelena last night, and so we're talking, and I asked her some questions like, what's your favorite, I'm sorry, what's your favorite character that you've ever played? And she just went, she was talking for like 5 minutes. That helped me because again, remember I'm not a very good conversationalist. But it helped because if I could ask her a question and I made her talk, then she feels like it's two of us talking, but no really, it's her talking. So ask very open-ended questions that gets people to want to talk often and you get them. And then when you're talking and when you're talking, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you listen. The thing is, listening is one of the best compliments you can pay to anybody because it shows that you're interested. So if you're genuinely interested in people, they will be genuinely interested in you. You can't ask a question and they start answering you and your head is down or you're looking at your TV or you're looking at your smartphone. You need to make sure that they know that you're interested. One of the ways to do that is to sometimes iterate what they said. So they know that, oh, I was saying stuff and this person was listening. Again, I'll use Juliana, I'm sorry. So we're talking about what she's going to talk about today. And when she has finished explaining, I was like, that's awesome point. And this is what I got from what you have said. And she's like, yeah, makes sense. The only reason is because I paid attention to her and I could iterate what she had said. And she feels like, Peace is a good listener. I could have more conversations with her. Another thing that you want to make sure that you do is to time your talk. Again, I'm talking about small talk. So this is not the real conversation. It's constructive small talk, meaning that we're doing it so that we can have deeper conversations later, right? We're doing small talk so that you can ask me the interview questions and you already like me because I made you laugh a bit the first maybe a few seconds I walked into the room. We're doing small talk, so when I tell you all the Avengers Endgame is this and blah, 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 when I tell you that I sell this product, you'll be like, oh, I like this brand already, so I want to buy from there. So you need to time your small talk. You need to make sure that you don't get so carried away in the little conversations that you then forget to pitch in what you want to do. You go for a business meeting, you make the person you're about to pitch to laugh. The minute the person is already happy with you, drop the money and tell them, give me this amount of money. They'll most likely want to drop it because at that point, they don't feel like this is a transactional relationship. No, they feel like, oh, I can trust this person. I can have an actual interaction with this particular person. So you want to time your small talk. And in timing it, you need to make sure that you're paying attention to cues. If you start talking and the person is like, please stop it and go away. You want to make sure that you're not just saying, oh, you know what, I was in a TEDx talk and people are saying we should do small talk and chit chat, but then the person is not interested and you're just there trying to force it. No, pay attention to their cues and you feel like they're not paying attention, they don't like it, then divert the conversation to something else. If they do and they're interested, then that's the time to put in the cue and put in your pitch, or that's the time to say, okay, this is actually what I do and this is how you can actually come in and collaborate with me. You also want to make sure that you always relate your small talk and your chit-chat to that thing that you're doing. That's very related to timing. Timing, make sure it's not too short, make sure it's not too long, but make sure that whatever questions or whatever initial conversation you're using to start that interaction can seamlessly get you to where you want to go to. So if I'm speaking with somebody now, I'm going to find a way to bring in business or marketing or sales or branding just in the initial stage. Because at the end of it, I want to tell you that this is what I do and this is how I can help you. It's very important that you know how to, and that's why it's constructive, know how to relate those little chit-chats and surface conversations to the end game you are trying to get to. And that's why it's going to be a very deliberate conversation. And then you want to learn to close every conversation that you have with a little thank you. A little, it was really good to meet you. A little, I hope we see next time. I'll put a phone call to you. Because no matter what happened in the negotiation part of that conversation, in the marketing part of it, when you eventually end it with warmth, it makes them feel like, oh, no matter the tension that was there, I could still very much relate to this particular person and still enjoy this conversation. These are just little tips that can help you have more deliberate and more constructive small talk. The reason is, when I was thinking about this topic, I was like, if it's deliberate conversations, what's that one thing that people seem to just dismiss a lot and they feel like we should not deliberately cultivate this skill? And I think it's small talk, and it has a lot of value. It is my hope that after listening to this for the last 15 minutes, that you go back and look for people who you want to really get deeper interactions with, people that you really want to communicate to, people that you actually want something from in your business, in your brand, in your marketing, in whatever you want to do, and find a way to get a common ground, to build rapport, to deliberately get them invested in just talking to you, so that when you leave, you leave an impression that when next time they see you, they'll want to pick up your calls. Next time they see you, even if you're not right for that job, they'll be like, I want to call this person just because I just liked her vibe. Have you heard that thing before? I just like this person's vibe. It's not necessarily because the person sounded too smart or the person was a know-it-all. It was just because in the most little things, in the little of things, you can find a way to say, I like this person, and this person is human and genuine. Lastly, this is my slogan for everything communication, everything branding, everything marketing. If you want people to stay with you, if you want people to be invested with you, you need to hug them, not physical hug. Hug stands for human, genuine, and unique. People need to know that you're human. People need to know that you're relatable. And that's why I talked about making sure that you're very authentic. You need to know that people can want to see your behind the scenes and your vulnerabilities. If they can connect to even your business brand as human as it is, they'll be more willing to put their money in there for you. You want to be unique. You want to find that thing that makes you unique. Maybe as a person, maybe it's your smile. Or maybe it's just the way you dress. Or maybe it's the way that you talk. Or maybe it's your laugh. It's just really loud and all over and it fills the room. You want to find that thing that is very unique to you and always leverage on it when you can. And you want to make sure that you're always genuine. People can always sense, especially in business, when you're being dishonest, when you're not being sincere. You want to make sure that you're authentic to yourself, authentic to your brand, and authentic to whatever products you're trying to actually give out. Thank you.